Greetings, football fans.
This is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network.
Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Are you ready for some football?
And here we go, Monday, September 22nd, 2025. It's time for Trojans Live as we recap the win Saturday night at the Coliseum late night as the Trojans took care of Michigan State.
Welcome to Trojans Live.
The exclusive USC Trojans Coaches Show.
King Miller is in. Keep your eyes open on number 30 here on a first down for the Trojans at the Sparty 40-yard line. Fake to Miller. Maliava will wind and throw. Lemon got it. Touchdown. Caught it at the 5 in stride. Steps in easily, and SC scores, and now goes up 17-7 pending the extra point.
We'll recap the game with head coach Lincoln Riley. Look ahead to Illinois on a Saturday morning coming up. Plus, talk about everything else going on in USC athletics. Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
How do you do?
The exclusive USC Trojans Coaches Show. Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Trojans Live for your Monday, right now.
Live from Los Angeles.
Now with the All-American Sean Cody and Keely Orr, here is your host, Jordan Moore.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside the All-American Sean Cody. Keely Orr co-hosting with us today, and the head coach, Lincoln Riley. USC's head coach interview is presented by I Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Thank you to the head coach, as always, for joining us here. Coach, first third of the season is already done. It happens fast once it gets going. How do you feel about the game-to-game progress so far over the first 4 games of your team?
Yeah, they've definitely been different challenges each week. It's great to get off to, obviously a really positive start in the league. We've, I think, shown the ability to have really effective units out there, I think really across the board. And now it's that kind of mid-season battle for improvement, for increased consistency across the board. For minimizing mistakes and continuing to play, as clean a ball as we can play. We've played pretty aggressive. We played pretty physical. I've been excited about that with our team. And most teams, especially when you're trying to ascend to become a great team, you're trying to kind of find that balance, and find that spot where you're playing really physical and aggressive, but you're not having self-inflicted errors and giving good opponents opportunities. And so we're kind of in that journey, I think, right now as a team would be fair to say. But, yeah, a lot to be excited about and a lot of growth left and obviously some big opportunities starting here this week at Illinois.
Coach, offensively, some injuries. Jacoby Lane's down, and then you have one during the game with Elijah Page. How do you think the offense did, and especially handling those injuries? Yeah,
I didn't think we missed a beat too much. I mean, I think the other guys that got opportunities were ready to step in there and play. And, when Page went down, the offensive line still continued to play at a pretty high level. And our other skill guys did a nice job as well. And so, it was good to see our depth show up. And that's just part of it during the season. You're going to have guys in and out, and the really good teams find a way just to continue on. And our guys did a pretty good job of that.
How would you evaluate Jaden Maiava through 4 games? It seems like he's just very steady right now.
Yeah, that's been a pretty good word to describe him. He's been pretty steady. He's handled some of the different challenges that these games have brought on. We've played different groups that have tried to attack us and attack him different ways. And I think he's done a good job handling it and just staying patient. And I think just playing definitely a more mature game right now, and I think that's been a good steadying force, not just for our offense, but for our whole team.
This has been by far the best running offense so far of your era at USC. It is through just 4 games, but the numbers have just been fantastic, up near the top 10 of the country. To what do you attribute it to?
Well, we've played pretty steady on the O-line. I mean, I think that's where you start. I do think the increased, usage of our tight ends, that room really coming around has been helpful in that. We've done a good job blocking on the perimeter, and then obviously, we've got, several guys in that running back room that we feel very confident handing the ball to and feel like that they're going to get most of the yards that they're supposed to, and also some that maybe, you don't expect from time to time. That's what really good running backs do. So, yeah, it's we've really committed to it. We have a lot of belief and trust in it, and obviously we're going to need to continue to be able to do that as you get in these different games, these different challenges, these different environments. A good running game obviously goes a long way, and so we're off to a good start there. But we know we're going to get challenged in different ways, schematically, personnel, again, different situations as we go through, and we're going to need that to continue to be a strength of this team.
Coach, Mekhi Lemon had a nice game. I thought the defense would be able to focus in on him a little more with Jacoby out, but you still find ways to use him. You get him out the ball in the backfield, and he's running around deep still. What's it like to have a guy like that at your disposal as a play caller?
Yeah, he's a versatile guy. I mean, he is. He's one of those guys that you have a lot of confidence in his ability to execute. Regardless of kind of where he's playing. He's a smart player, and so he's able to play multiple positions for us, and slot and outside and different sides of the ball. So he's done a good job becoming that really versatile player that we feel like we can use. And fortunately we've got enough weapons around. Even when we've got some guys out, we've got other good weapons that it makes it at times a little bit tougher to zero in on people, especially when we're running the football well. So he's made some big plays. Obviously, he and Jaden have a good, are in a good rhythm, have a good connection, and he's Mekhi's a dependable player, so there's always a lot of confidence that he's going to be where he's supposed to be, and he's going to win those one-on-one battles that you would expect one of your better receivers to win.
The defensive line shined once again. How valuable is it to have multiple contributors there?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, you see that, again, it's just 4 games in, but I mean the difference from really, honestly, other than Thule year 1, I mean, really year 1 to year 3, and then now, I mean, it's very different. It feels different. I think it probably feels different to our opponents. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge factor in college football. I mean, when you can have, a really good defensive line that has depth, that can beat you different ways, where people can't just focus in on one guy, or where you're not having to play some guys 60 or 70 snaps a game. I mean, it's hard to describe the impact, and I think what we're expecting and banking on is, I mean, really that impact should get bigger as the season goes on. There's going to be more attrition. There's going to be more attrition on a lot of these teams we play, and if our depth, is as strong as we feel like it is, I mean, honestly, it should be an even bigger factor as we go.
Jakeem Stewart, wow. Is that just get off? I mean, you do that play once and people go, oh, I don't know, maybe something weird happened. He then did it twice, basically, almost the same exact play. Is that just get off? Did he have some on the snap count, or are we just a special player?
Yeah, no, he's really got a gift, for getting in the backfield. He's got a unique blend of quickness, really fast hands. For a guy his age, and then your length is definitely a factor at that point. And so, yeah, I mean he's definitely, each game has gotten better, has gotten more impactful, and I think, and again, this kid's just scratching the surface. I mean, this is just a fraction, I think, of what he's going to be able to do. So he's got to just keep his head down and continue to improve. But he's already making impactful plays, and he's. That's a lot of the same stuff that we've been seeing in practice, for last several months. I mean, he's a difficult matchup, and then when you pair him up too with, these other really good players we have on the defensive line, I mean, you're creating a lot of single blocks, and I think that's going to play to our advantage.
Look, I can't even get a defensive line question in, Coach. These guys are poaching my D-line questions. That's all I got, man. What the heck? Coach, the game was 31-10. You're feeling great. It's going well. Couple bad series. They get back in the game, but you guys find a way to win the game. What's the learning lesson for your team that you pull out of that one?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were, dominating the football game. Obviously, the roughing the punter, and then the ensuing, we had a sub issue there on the 4th down was a poor sequence for us, because we just had another stop, about to get the ball back. We actually had a good punt return on it too. I mean, that really gave them life, and then we compounded that by the fumble on the following series, and it's all of a sudden you make a couple of self-inflicted errors, and now, you know, against a good team and a good offense, like now it's a ball game. So, yeah, I'm not happy about it because I felt like we were about to end it right there. But at the same token, you have those things happen. It gets back closer than really the game probably should have been at that point, and then you go separate again. I mean, I thought that showed a lot about the team, that they were able to just steady themselves, catch their breath, go back to playing dominant football, and we were able to stretch that thing out again pretty good.
You mentioned in the post-game press conference that player leadership spoke after the game, and you don't have to get into specifics, but what have you seen from player leadership? Because I know you've always stressed that the great teams are led by its players.
Yeah, this team probably has as much player leadership as I would say our first year. We had, for all the moving pieces and all that first year, we had quite a bit of player leadership, and I think that was one of the keys to, you know, that team turning into as good a football team as it did. So we've emphasized it a lot, and I think we've had a lot of guys that have really stepped up. I mean, you know, everybody talks about it, but, you know, some years, no matter how hard you push them, guys just don't want to go to the front of the room. Like, sometimes teams are like that, and I think we've had more guys that have maybe even stepped outside of their own comfort zones and pushed and done it. We've tried a few new things to help spur that along, and the guys, give them credit, have responded. But, yeah, we've got several guys that have a strong voice in our locker room, and are doing a good job of kind of really pushing the messages in the direction that we kind of set forth for them and taking it. And that's been important, and it's good. Leadership's got to come from different ways. It can't always just be the head coach or the coaches. Like, it's most powerful when it's echoed by the guys that are in between the white lines.
Ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the Beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, Unleash the Beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. Big noon kickoff is the Trojans Challenge this week. Matchup of ranked teams, USC and Illinois, will go on at 9 a.m. Pacific time kickoff. We'll go on at 7 a.m. with the Trojan Tailgate Show. We'll talk to Coach about that matchup next on Trojans Live. Hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too? Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's, a proud partner of USC Athletics, and Stone IPA has inspired a generation of brewers and beer lovers. Made in Southern California, Stone Brewing's first anniversary ale continues to be today's iconic West Coast style IPA. Crisp, light-bodied, and packed with hoppy flavor, located at fine.stonebrewing.com. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Keeley, and the head coach Lincoln Riley getting you set for USC Illinois on Saturday. Coach, I'm calling it the trifecta. We did the weather delay, we did the late night game, now we get the early morning game. What are the challenges of a 9 a.m. body time kickoff?
Well, I think it's just handling the entire week well, because it does, if you don't really recover and give the guys a chance to recover, and if you're not smart with your schedule, you arrive home late from Purdue, you have the late kickoff here, and then it kind of flips and goes the other way. So it'll put a lot of, I think, responsibility on us and our team to really do a good job with recovery here this week, and making sure that, obviously, A, we have a great week of practice, and then B, obviously we can transition to get ready to play the game. And so, listen, everybody's got to deal with it in some way, whether it's East Coast teams coming west or vice versa. This will be our first one, honestly, since Colorado, our second year. That ended up being a really early kick as well. Obviously, we didn't have to travel quite as far, but obviously there was a lot of similarities, and we were able to go in there and start fast and go play well and win the game. So, it's just one of those things you got to overcome as a team, and we've overcome, like you said, the first two that were unique in their own way, and this one will be too, and we got to rise up and go get it done again.
Coach, I think I remember that Colorado game in the hotel that morning. The guys up hooting, hollering early. I remember alarms going off. Any routines you can kind of tell us about how to get the motor running for these guys on those early morning games?
Yeah, we have probably the biggest thing that gets our motors running. We do a team stretch at the hotel. It doesn't really matter whether it's an early kick, late kick. I mean, we do it. It'll matter what time we do it, but we always do it the morning before the game. And it's there's a little bit of a stretch to it, but it's more just to kind of just get the guys woke up and going. And, yeah, Coach True and several of our players have pretty pivotal parts in it. But it's yeah, I think no matter what, it's better than coffee. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting in the room like, oh my God, these guys are up early, man.
Yeah, they'll be ready.
On the whole, how do you look at this Illinois team through 4 games?
Well, it's a really good football team. I mean, it's when you look back at returning production, the amount of snaps and starts and players that they have back. I mean, especially in this age of college football, it's almost honestly shocking. Obviously, a team that was a double-digit win team, has played well early this year. Listen, they didn't. I'm sure they would admit, didn't play probably quite up to their standards, last week, and game got away from them a little bit. That can happen on the road against good football teams, but this is a really good team. They bring back a ton offensively. Quarterback's an outstanding player. Experienced O-line, really good skill guys around them. Challenging scheme. And I would say a lot of the same things defensively. A lot of experienced players, really experienced front. Some really good players in the back end, linebackers that have been there forever. And, Brett and those guys have always, been very challenging defensively, and they really challenge you in some unique ways. So it's a really good football team. I mean, just plain and simple, top to bottom. And I think, again, it's their experience to me that really stands out, and you see that in the way they play.
You're listening to the head coach, Lincoln Riley, on Trojans Live. Coach, I've always liked your answer about penalties. You've said it's not really a category that you want to have the fewest in the nation, as much as fans may think that, because it means you're probably not a very physical football team. We've seen a lot of hands to the face on defense this year. Is that one of those point of emphasis things? Is that something that the team needs to get better at? What are we seeing with that particular call?
No, we absolutely have to get better with that. I mean, it's one of those things that you have a couple early on like we did, and then you're marked for it. And
yeah, Sean brought that up on the broadcast.
You are, and one thing that fans may not know this, but before every game, there's a head coach and officials meeting. They come into the locker room, and you go through. You might give them a heads up if you're going to do something real unique schematically, so that they're ready to officiate it. You talk about any questions you have on how they're going to officiate the game. And then they always ask you, hey, is there anything from your opponent, right, that you've seen that you just want to make sure we're aware of, that you think, is a penalty or whatever. And it's like we told our team. I mean, every single head coach that walks into there, the first thing they're going to talk to them about is, well, USC's had this many hands to the face penalties. And so, I think we're certainly getting marked for it, but we have to do a better job. We're being really aggressive on the D-line. We're pressing out a lot of these offensive linemen, and that's what's creating some of these pressures and closing down gaps in the run game and all that. But, we got to be disciplined. And I think for us, it's, if your hands end up to the face of another player, that's not a penalty. What the penalty is if you put your hands there and then you maintain that and you leave it and don't take them down. And so we've had some great examples where our hands has ended up there and we've taken our hand down and no penalty. But the times that we've left them up there, we've been flagged every damn time for it. So, we got to it's definitely one of those things that, we got to be a smarter team, understand we're marked for that. And, it's just such a costly penalty. It's like we told our guys, it's an explosive play for the offense with them doing nothing. And most of the ones we've had this year have been no gain or negative yards plays. And so, definitely one that has to improve, and it's got to happen now.
Coach, I don't know if people are talking about this enough, but the transformation of Jaden Mayava, I just think can't be brought up enough. And you've created a lot of great quarterbacks in your career, but we're after last year. We're thinking about maybe Jaden's a nice player. Maybe the transfer portal. We'll see what happens. And this year he's just like a completely different guy. Just calm, collected. The touch passes, the little float passes. What goes into the belief after last year and knowing Jaden's going to be my guy, and then what the product is now. That has just been to me, it's just been night and day.
Well, Jaden deserves a ton of credit. He did a really good job after the end of the season of just really taking an honest look at what he did well and what he's got to do better, and then just really put his head down and just own the things that he knew he had to be better at and that we put in front of him. And he's incredibly coachable. And that's where, his humility is a strength. Occasionally you have sometimes quarterbacks that are so hard-headed that it can it can go the other way where they almost become a little less coachable than you want them to be. Exactly. And Jaden's so humble that, like, he takes what we give him and he goes. I give Luke Heward a lot of credit. I think Luke's done a phenomenal job with Jaden. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's just really bought in, not just to the plays and the scheme, but just, how we envision playing that position at a high level. And as that's going on, I think his confidence is just growing and growing.
Coach, I did a trivia question with the fans this week, a ticket giveaway where they had to guess the 11 guys that were on the field for your first touchdown call here at USC. You remember it at all?
Mm-hmm.
You could do the whole thing?
The whole
Personnel.
I know, yeah. I mean, it was the little slant return to Jordan Addison. Yep. Yeah. Mario Williams was on the field.
Yep.
Jordan. I'm sure we had one tight end in the game.
You did? And he's still on your team now?
Yeah. Lake was in the game. I'm sure T. Dye was out there.
He was not.
Oh, no, Austin?
Yeah,
Austin was. Yeah, I knew it would have been one of those two. Yeah.
O-line was a little tricky. Interior guys.
Yeah. Haskins.
He was not in yet.
Oh, Cortland was still. Yeah, Cortland was early.
Trick one,
so, yeah, Nealon, Voorhees, Dedich.
Yep.
Who am I missing? Oh, Jonah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And your ex-receiver was Brendan Rice.
Yeah, there you go.
Crap, I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
I knew he would remember it. I didn't even remember we played Rice, but we had a lot of fans that got it. Somebody got some tickets out of it.
Very cool.
Many more touchdowns certainly after that one, and hopefully more this weekend. USC, Illinois, big noon kickoff. Top 25 teams. 9 a.m. is our kickoff here in the Pacific time. 7 a.m. is the Trojan Tailgate Show. Jaden Richardson is up next on Trojans Live.